All right, so yeah, I've made, I don't know, I think 3, maybe 4 different videos on how to disable the LED on the Ray-Ban Metas. Um, those, I mean, I've done, I don't know, I kind of lost count, maybe 35, 40, give or take, pairs since those first couple videos. And I kind of changed how I do things now to make it a little more streamlined and just easier for me anyway. I mean, I still have a 100% success rate with doing these, so I think I kind of have it down pretty well. Um, so I figured I would make another updated video with how I do it now and kind of address a bunch of questions that I always get. So I'm trying to think. So I get asked this all the time. If hold on, let me take. It looks like this customer, this guy had tape on his. Yeah, let me get that off. We're not going to need that anymore. So I get asked all the time, why don't you use a laser? Can you use a high-powered laser and laser this, laser that? Um, you know, I don't have. Well, I didn't think I had access to a laser, and then the more I thought about it, I thought, wait a second, I do have a laser on my laser guided Bluetooth hole puncher. Um, yeah, so I was thinking about that, and let's test it out. So here is my laser guided Bluetooth hole puncher. Uh, does have a laser right here. Let's test it out. So we got the LED. Doesn't seem to work. Maybe if I put it in strobe mode. No, still doesn't seem to work. And for all the nervous Nancy's, empty, empty, empty. Calm down. So that doesn't work. At least with the laser I have. If you have another laser and you want to test it, go for it. Anyway, so what else do we got? So what I do, thinking about just doing one cut. I had a couple, I don't know, I think 1 or 2 people like, oh, the video's too long. I mean, TikTok brain nowadays, people just, you know, they want instant gratification. They just want the answer quick. But, I just treat this like a couple people hanging out in the shop. So, you know, so anyway, all right. So what I always do now on every pair is I first do a factory reset. Uh, I made another short video, but to factory reset it, you turn the switch on, fold the right arm. I'm not going to do it now because I already have it paired to my Meta app. Press the capture button 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The light will turn solid orange. When it does, hold the capture button until it flashes orange and white, and then just let it sit. Might take a minute, and then it will factory reset and then flash blue when it goes into pairing mode, and then that's it. You can repair it through your Meta app. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, that's what I did with these. That's what I do with everyone's, and then I connected it to my Meta app so that I can test it. I make sure pictures and videos work before I do anything. These, they are paired to my phone, but I turned Bluetooth off so that the audio wasn't going through these while I record this video. So then, all right, so the next thing, I just take some painter's tape and just cover the lens. I don't want to scratch the lens. And then I just take little pieces. Yeah, this is going to be a longer video because I'm not going to cut anything. Well, as of right this second, I don't plan to. We'll see how it goes. I can normally bang these out in 15-20 minutes, I guess. Pretty quick. It's a little awkward to record though and do this. Kind of feel like, who was it? Patrick Swayze and Ghost with the pottery scene, because I have to reach around. I have not necessarily a tripod, but a wood clamp with some other clamps holding my phone. I feel like I'm dating myself making that reference. I don't even remember what the song was. Oh, I think it was Unchained Melody, maybe. Whoa, my love. Alright, so, alright, that's covered. Pretty good. Cool. Double check. Picture. Video. Turn it off. Light still works. Alright, first thing I do is glass cutter. Okay, so with this, I did change the way I break the glass now. Before, I used to kind of score it a little bit, and then I would kind of put the glasses in. Over here, I have a wood vise. I stopped using that after maybe the second or third pair. It was just too awkward, and it didn't really work right. So all I do now is use the glass cutter, and I just keep, running it. Well, I'll just show you. So it's a little awkward, but we'll get it done. That one was actually super quick. So I just run it over a little bit and just keep pressing it, and you see it is broken, the glass. So this step here, this is one of the more, I would say, important steps. Like, it'll kind of determine how well the final product will be. So still use the same dental pick, and you're going to want to clean out all the glass. Make sure you get every single piece. I'm actually going to do this I am going to pause this because I'm going to do it off camera. I just don't want the little glass pieces falling on the burlap. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Because I do want to do this in one video, or one take. All right, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. Let me turn this light on. All right, this is going to be a little hard to do kind of away from myself, but we'll get it. If you don't feel like watching this, all the TikTok brain people, you can fast forward a little bit. If somebody wants to put a timestamp, that's cool. For everybody else, how's your day going? Mine's not bad. It was a little rainy here, but cleared up a little bit. It's only a little bit more. The main reason you want to get all this out, not only just so it's out of there, but later when we do the resin, let me actually set this up so it can settle. So when we do it later, the resin will sit flat and there won't be any glass kind of in the way of where the resin needs to sit, but we'll get to that later. Cool. These are good. All right. So there's no more glass. And then what I like to do is with my air compressor is just blow it out a little bit, just to get, you might be able to see just a little bit of kind of glass dust that's in there. So turn that off, sorry. All right, so all of the glass is out. Okay, let's get rid of this. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We don't need glass cutter anymore, done with that. So the next step is, I still use the same bigger needle. People have been asking what size this needle is. So let's see, the caliper here looks like 1/16 of an inch, or for the non-Americans, about 2 mil. So it's about the same as 2 Sawzall blades for the Americans. So 2 mil. And we'll get to it later, but people also ask about the drill bit. So same 2 mil, same thing, a little under, but yeah, it's about 2 mil. Okay, so the next thing I do is we'll bring this in a little bit so we can see it. We are going to heat up the needle. We'll start a recording so that we see the LED. I went through a couple different versions of how I do this. So in the very beginning, mine were the first that I did, but in the very beginning, I used a tiny normal sewing needle, and got down kind of to the LED and drilled it out. Then I went to this needle, and for a while it did work completely fine. And I don't know if using the needle, if it just heated the solder contacts and then killed the LED. I don't believe that it damaged the actual diode, only because normally an LED diode on the top is glass, and this, it wouldn't have went through glass. So I think I just damaged the contact point, but eventually, I don't know if it's because I've used this needle so much and it started to deform a little bit. I straightened it, but I don't know if it just wasn't making contact exactly where I wanted it to. So now what I do is I still use the needle. I go down until the LED is clear, but I use this more to make like a pilot hole, for the drill bit, just so I know the drill bit will be lined up right on top of the LED, and then I do drill it out. And that's been working perfectly. So like I said, I kind of in the beginning just did the small needle and then the drill bit. It worked. Then I went to only the needle after I started to notice that this worked, and then it stopped for whatever reason. It's really hard to see down inside when you do melt this out. I don't know why it stopped working, but either way, using this as to make a pilot hole and then the drill bit still works perfectly fine. So let's do that. So let's turn our torch on. There we go. Heat up the needle. Alright, and then I'll start the recording. This is going to be a little awkward around the stand I have, but we'll get it. Usually takes a couple times. I'm actually already almost down to the LED. Okay. Turn that off for now. Move that out of the way. So you can see, still see the LED, and it's a lot brighter now because now we don't have the, here, I'll stop the recording. So that's kind of what it looks like, just a melted hole, right? Start the recording again. So now I like to use the drill bit now that I can clearly see the top of the LED. I know it's really hard to see on camera since it's flashing, but then we'll grab the drill, same 2mm drill bit, and then just drill slow until the light stops. There you go, it just stopped. No more LED. Still have the LED on the inside, so we'll stop the recording. No LED. And then what I like to do also, just to verify everything, I like to turn them off. Okay, turn it on. Okay, sorry, yeah, stop the recording for a second. I really should have let it run. That's happened on a couple pair, okay? So if anybody does this, it has happened to me also. So I've had a couple weird things happen, you know, throughout all of these. This one here, when I did that, I don't know if you saw the light, it was just solid white. I turned them off, turned it back on, it was still solid white. It's almost like it just needed to be reset again. So I let it sit and it reset itself and then it came back on. I've also had two people actually recently who got a hold of me. When I did these, everything worked fine. When I do like modify these for people, I always take a video showing that they work, that the LED is on the inside, it's off on the outside. I send them the video just to verify, but two people, when they got the glasses, because I also do factory reset them before I send it out, when they got them, the light was just flashing white. They had to do a hard reset and then they worked fine. So the hard reset, all you have to do is turn the power off, okay? Hold the capture button in, turn the power button on while you're holding this, and then that light will turn red, let it go, and then they'll reset, and then it went into pairing mode. These just did something similar, but it came right back on. So they do work. So let me show you. So if you start a recording, there's the sound, you have your record, and then there's no light. And you do have the light. So we'll stop it, and then we'll take a picture. Took a picture, do another one so you can see the light. No light. Do another video. You can hear the sound. No light. So they do work. Okay, so we'll stop that. So now what I like to do is go back to the dental pick here and then clean out as much of this melted plastic as you can. Normally I don't go too deep, I just go around the top where it kind of folded over. It does chip out pretty easy. It's kind of like a yellowish amberish plastic, but just chip out as much of that as you can. Yeah, you see it's coming out. This is another one of the steps that, just like getting all the glass out, this is gonna make a big difference with how the final outcome is. So that looks pretty good. Try to get every little piece I can that's loose out. Okay, and then what I like to do is hit it with compressed air again. Okay, that's kind of what it looks like. And then I like to test it one more time. So start a recording. There's your light. No light. Turn it off. Okay, so we know these work. So we're pretty much done. The most important thing, as far as looks, like once you do everything we just did and it functions, the hard part is done. You know, really the drilling and the melting and the whatever, that's where people kind of get nervous. I guess that's technically the hardest part, but the most important part visually with how these are going to look when you're done is the resin. So I like to take off all the tape around the outside. I still leave the one on the lens just in case. All right, so we'll take that off. Okay, so I had it in another video. This is the resin I use, UV resin. I like it because it has a tiny spout. It's really easy to put it where I need. And then this is a UV light. Focus. So you don't have to use this one. I got this in a kit for a screen protector. I think I said it in another video that also used resin to cure between the screen protector and a phone. This is just what I have, but they have flashlight style UV lights. Doesn't really matter, just any kind of UV light to cure the resin. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. Let's get that ready. So let me try to actually explain this before I do it. I don't know if it was common in school for everyone, maybe middle school, where you did the experiment with the penny and drops of water to see how many drops of water could fit on the penny before it overflowed. So the resistance of the fluid, in this case resin, in that water, the surface tension, eventually the ring will hold the liquid in and it'll create a dome. I learned on mine, they were the first pair. I made it pretty flat and I was nervous that it would overflow the ring. There's a metal ring that'll hold the resin in here. So I was afraid it was going to overflow and I didn't put enough in. So it was slightly like convex, domed down, whatever. But by doing that, it looked a little bit rippled. So now I learned if you put one drop, maybe even a half of a drop, just so it's slightly curved up, it looks way better. It looks so much more smooth. So that's what we'll do. Normally, it seems like it takes anywhere between 3 and 5 drops from this. You know, yours might be different, but try to do this on camera. I do one at a time and let it flow down into that hole we just drilled. And then I try to be really careful that there isn't an air bubble that comes out of the spout. Every once in a while tries to, and I need to use the dental pick to pop yep, see, there's just like that. I'm actually glad that just happened, so you can see. So there, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there is an air bubble right there. So we got to pop that. It's kind of a pain. But we'll get it. There we go. Okay. Clean that off later. Okay, so with that one, I know it's not enough, but it just started to touch the outer ring. So what I like to do now is just start to tap it, just so it settles. Probably gonna need 2 more, I think. Yeah, once it starts to touch the ring, I like to just tap it and tilt it, you know, kind of the way that it still needs to flow. Still might need 2 more, maybe 1.5. But like I said, take your time doing this step, because this is what you'll see, you know? So you just want to make sure it touches every edge, because then that's when you'll get the slight dome. It's not quite there. And then you won't be able to see this on camera, but I like to look at it from the side, and you'll be able to see, you know, if it is slightly cupped upwards, domed, I guess. This should be the last one. Yeah. So I don't really want to tilt it too much at this point because I'm afraid of it spilling out of the ring. But that looks perfect. So then you want to hurry up, hit it with the UV light. Now this is another mistake I made on my the first pair. So this particular light, it stays on for 30 seconds. After the first time I did it, I thought, it's probably okay, and I touched the resin and left a small fingerprint, like smudge mark, on mine. So I know it needs more than that. So now I do it 3 separate times and try to kind of hit it from different angles. So now, let's see, it's off. I'll do it again. But now I don't have to worry about it running out. Like it won't flow out. So just try to hit it from different angles. And after this, I'll do it one more time. This is the last one. And then I just like to test it one more time. This one, after I'm done recording the video, I'll verify all the recordings work on my Meta app. Like I said, I turn my Bluetooth off, so the audio and everything recorded on my phone and not through the glasses, like while I'm doing this. So this is almost done. Cool. All right. Let me clean up the resin. Okay, so let's test these again. Start the recording. There's the light. No light. Let's see if I can get the reflection. And it's shiny. And it looks way better, like I said, if you have a slight, you know, dome. Not much, but just enough, because then it makes it smooth. If it's lower than the ring, you know, it'll kind of have a ripple to it and it doesn't look quite as good. So, but yeah, that's it. And the light's on, turn it back off, stop the recording, and there you go. So then I just normally, when I do other people's, well, this is someone else's, then I'll make a personal video, you know, showing them the recording start, no light on the inside, and that's pretty much it. But that's the process how I do it now. Kind of a quick rundown. I use the glass cutter. Backtrack, sorry, I'm already screwing up. So after I verify they work, put tape all the way around just to protect the glasses, you know. Use a glass cutter, just slowly cut on the lens while pushing in, and eventually it cracks. As soon as it cracks, stop. You want the pieces to be as big as possible. They're just easier to get out. Then dental pick, make sure you get all the glass out. Once you get all the glass out, if you have a compressor, you know, any kind of compressed air, I like to do that. If not, just blowing it. Get all the, you know, get everything out that you can, all the dust. Then go to your needle, if you have one. Melt down the center of the projector until you see the LED pretty clearly. Then I like to stop now. It was just taking too long. Like I said, at a certain point, the needle itself stopped working for me, and I think I deformed the needle. For you, it might work. That's cool. I just didn't like the fact that eventually I had to keep going in, you know, multiple times with the heat. And I just really didn't want to damage anything by digging around in there, because I don't know what's in there. I can't really see clearly. So anyway, melt down to the LED. Once you do that, drill while recording a video so you see the LED. Drill slowly. As soon as the light goes out, stop. Then back to the dental pick, clear out all the melted resin, or I'm sorry, melted plastic from the projector. Get all that out. Once you do that, compressor again, just to clean out anything you can. Make sure it looks as good as possible, because the resin is crystal clear. So however you leave it, that's how you'll see it. And then use the resin. I forget how many drops it was on this. It's, like I said, it's usually about 3 to 5, give or take. And then just slowly, one at a time, let it run down. Once it starts getting close, I like to tap the side and then get a slight dome, hit it with the UV light. You're good to go. That's pretty much it. So I have been doing these for people, a bunch of them at this point. I'll leave another pinned comment on this video if you want me to do yours. Just I'll put the info down there, how to get a hold of me. I don't mind doing it. I just tell everyone the exact same thing. If I do yours, you kind of see how involved it is. I might make it look easy because I've done a bunch of them, but I still can't be responsible if for whatever reason they do break. I've never broken a pair yet, but you know, that doesn't mean that there won't be a pair that does get broken. But yeah, I'll leave that info in the pinned comment on the top. And hopefully this video helps. Sorry it's longer for all the TikTok brain people, but hopefully for other people it helps you out. All right, have a good day.